Hi, welcome to Hive Virtual Edition. My name is Lori. Today we're going to make an acrylic painting on canvas. The canvas can be purchased from a dollar store or a local craft store, and you'll just need some inexpensive acrylic paint. We'll be doing a sunset. To start with, we'll put a generous dab of each of these colors onto your canvas. What I've learned is when the colors are already on the canvas, it is much easier to blend them all together than to apply each color separately. The reason being, the paints are all a little bit wet when you start brushing, and it really helps to make the transition from one color to the other quite subtle. So brush from one side of your canvas to the other side. The more you introduce your brush to the new colors, the more blending that will take place. If you're not happy with the blending, then you're free to add more color right on top of the canvas to meet your desired effect. You want to paint over the edges of your canvas. Whatever color is on the surface, paint it over the edges so that you don't have the white canvas showing at the end. I'd like to lighten up this area, and so I'll just put a dab of yellow on it and brush it in. When adding a bit more color, you'll not want to go from one edge of the canvas all to the other anymore. Once it's covered, just be strategic in terms of where you have some variance in color across the width of the canvas. This part is very personal. This is where you're just going to add colors and brush until the result is something that you're happy with. If you have a photograph that you're looking at, you can explore the colors in the photograph and try and replicate it. I just am trying to do something that I think looks as natural as possible. Once the background is dry, we will paint a small white circle to be the sun. We'll now add a black silhouette along the bottom. And once again, this is where your creativity will come in. There are no right hills and trees and shrubs and pieces of grass. Just use your brush. Sometimes I dry my brush and use only a little bit on it and just play around. You can make the silhouette larger if you're not happy with the way it looks. Once I add the trees, I will come back to this silhouette at the bottom and add more as it seems appropriate to fit with the trees that I draw. We'll start to draw 4 trees, You don't have to have a steady hand. This can all be fixed up as you go along. Just get a general idea as to the height and directionality of the trees that you're going to draw, and we can come back and fill in spaces, etc. closer to the end. This is just to map out where your trees are going. You might want to try a variety of different brushes. Some brushes will give you a finer line, others a thicker line. Some brushes will hold more paint. So this is the time to experiment with your brushes. You'll want this first tree to go about 3/4 up your canvas. We'll be drawing 4 major trees, with the largest tree being one on the right-hand side. It's at your discretion how large you make the next trees. We're going to start to add branches to our trees. As you know, there is no perfect tree or tree branch. So whatever you do here will be great. Some branches go upwards, some go down. There are thick branches and thin branches. There really is no right or wrong way to make branches. So go ahead and with all 4 trees, make some branches. We will be adding foliage to these trees a little later, so all of your work on branches will not be all that visible towards the end. Here I'm adding a few additional small trees and more branches. I'm now starting to add the foliage. So what I'm doing is using a dried brush. I dry some of the paint off on a paper towel. I'm just dabbing around the branches. In a moment, I will change brushes to use a different brush with the same technique for a slightly different effect. So I'm changing brushes now, and you can see this one has the bristles very spread apart. It's well dried, but will give a completely different effect on top of that which I've already put on the tree. And here's the finished painting.